Hi, everybody. It's Brooke Ali,
And Dr. T.
and this is GreenSpark Mafia, where we look into everything that causes a green spark around the world. So, ways that we can help with the environment, whether it's food, products, companies, whatever it is, we're here to share it with you guys.
And today we have something real fun. You may see them in the grocery store in the produce aisle where they have a whole little section of fresh sprouts. And sprouts come in all different forms, broccoli sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, sunflower sprouts, bean sprouts. They're expensive in the store, and sometimes they're not so fresh, or there's been issues in the past because you don't know how they're grown and where they're grown. But broccoli sprouts in particular, are really kind of a superfood. Broccoli sprouts being one of the real big superfoods, because when you're a little sprout, that little sprout has like all the energy that plant's going to need to grow into a big plant. So it's got a lot of nutritional value right in there. And they have a lot of vitamin K, good fiber, vitamin C. So broccoli sprouts are one of the most nutritious out of the group.
Would you say that eating broccoli sprouts is more nutritionally dense than actually having broccoli?
Well, yeah, funny that you should say that. So there is a little bit of difference where you get a lot of the sulforaphanes in the broccoli sprouts because they're raw and you haven't cooked them yet. But then there are other nutrients that you do get in the actual broccoli when you eat that after it's sprouted. So I'd say encourage people to eat both, but the sprouts have just a lot of nutrients packed in a tiny little punch.
They're easier to get in, kind of.
Yeah. Use on a budget to buy broccoli sprouts. So many times I've bought sprouts and then I stick them in my refrigerator and I forget about them. And then, I've just spent like $7 and I pull them out and they're already moldy. So what I started doing a while back is actually growing your own, and growing your own is just so easy. I could grow sprouts just sitting right here. Doesn't take big equipment. You can get as fancy as you want. I'm just going to kind of go over the steps on how to do it. And I'm going to show you just sitting right here how easy that is. So the first thing you need when you're starting out is you actually need the seeds. So I bought some, and what you want to do is get organic. Okay, so I just bought these online. They're broccoli sprouting organic seeds, and you can see there's about 1 million of them in here. So this will last me years and years because there's just so many. They're so tiny, and I'll show you in a minute how tiny they are. They're like the little teeny tiny of like a pinhead. So, and it's amazing that tiny little pinhead turns into this little mega super food. So I like it because you feel empowered. You're growing it yourself. You can grow as much as you think you're going to need for a week, so there's no waste. So I'll show you this. So this is the seeds, and then you need to grow some kind of vessel, right, that you're going to be able to put the seeds in. And so what I did was I bought this online. It's just a regular mason jar. And then all it is a lid, but it's a mesh. Okay, so that water can go through that, but seeds cannot go through that. Why can't I ever get that lined up? See? And that just screws on top.
When you bought that, did you search sprouting jar lid?
Yeah, the sprouting jar. And we could put this on our Facebook page, the link to this particular one. Like I said, it's not fancy equipment. It's very your basic mason jar and a little mesh lid. And what, just the cost of this alone, and to buy the seeds, by the time you would buy just a package, it probably costs more just to buy one single package of sprouts than it does to buy this. The seeds included, so maybe that's 2 weeks worth of seeds. So it's more than paid it for itself already.
Not only that, but you're not using plastic. So by doing it yourself, you've cut out the expense of the delivery, as well as any,
all the costs. Like they're, growing these seeds, they're growing these sprouts somewhere. You're not sure how they're treating them, whether they're getting contaminated. You don't know what kind of water they're putting on them. You don't know whether they're organic. They could be organic, but they could still be contaminated. Then you don't know what the transportation process is. And you're right, you're going to save all that money in the transportation from where they grow them to get to the store, the packaging and the handling and all of that. And then the cost of you driving to the store,
Yeah.
purchasing them, driving back home, taking that packaging, throwing it into your waste, and then that being recycled or not recycled, et cetera. So yeah, the cost, this is glass, it's recyclable. This is stainless steel, so it doesn't rust. And so it's real durable. That's what I like about it. And basically how you start is you're going to take about 2 tablespoons of the sprouts. And then here's the jar.
There. Oh, cool. Okay, so it's just real little. Okay.
Yep.
It looks like dirt.
It looks like dirt. And then what you're going to do is going to take some, and I just used filtered water from my refrigerator. Okay. Just a little bit. I'm going to fill this jar up halfway. And then I'm going to put the lid back on. And then you're going to let this sit and soak for about 8 hours or like overnight. Okay. And then it will be ready to go. Then what you'll do is once you let them soak for 8 hours, you're going to drain this of water. And so it's a mesh top. So you just turn it upside down. You make sure all the water's drained out. And then what you're going to want to do, we're just going to make believe this is that jar, same size. So this is the jar that's all drained out, and you're going to set it on an angle. And the reason why upside down like this, so the mesh thing is here, and you'll put it on a plate. You can just like put a towel over it just so that it's filled. And what happens is any moisture will drain out of the seeds so that it doesn't, because mold is a big thing. You don't want your seeds to get moldy. You want them to get washed with clean water, but then you don't want them to stay mushy. So what you do every day is then you take your jar, you put it under the water faucet, you rinse, fill it up. What is leaking? Oh, I think I'm dripping on myself. You fill it up and then you dump it out twice, and then you do that 3 times a day. And so then you put it back on its original slant, okay, every day, not in the sun, just in a nice temperature controlled place. Don't put it in something drafty. It should be about 70 degrees, wherever that may be in your house. So just try to avoid like a really hot place and a really cold place, but I haven't had any problem. And then what you'll do is you'll watch, and after about 24 hours, you'll see the little green start to bud. And what I'll do is I'll take a picture, and I do actually have pictures because I did it with another setup, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So you'll see the little, you'll see changes every day. They'll start to get bigger and bigger. And what you want to do is you want your jar to fill up of the sprouts. And once it's full and you feel like, okay, that's all I've got, then you open up and you just take your sprouts out and you put them, wrap them up in a paper towel and stick them in a glass container in your refrigerator. You want them pretty dry, and then you're just going to take out a bunch every day and you eat them.
Do you put a lid on the glass container?
Yep, it's a sealed container in the refrigerator. So I've been eating them every day, and so this week the way that I've been eating them is I have a piece of, my husband made some homemade gluten-free bread, so I've just been slicing it and toasting it. Oh. And then I put Kite Hill cream cheese, which is all almond milk based. I put that on top of the bread, and then I put everything but the bagel seasoning on that. And then I put a big old hand of sprouts right on top. Wow. And then I eat that. And that is power food. I love it. It's really good.
We'll post a picture of that here in this video too.
Yeah. So then I have another sprouting device too. So this is what I said. You can get as simple as just a mason jar, or you can get a little bit more fancy. And this is just a kind of like a condo, basically. So it's got this solid bottom, okay? And then it's got this, and see how it has holes on it? So you can set this up. You can actually make it 2-tier. You put this on top of that. And then basically, and I can show you this. I don't think you actually do that. I think you do it this way. No, that's right. So basically what you do, you can grow double the amount of sprouts of all the same kind, because you have 2 levels. And this is the same structure where you put the seeds here and you put the seeds on the second level, and then you run water through that. I have the lid. I don't know where my lid is. I must have left it in there, but there's a lid there. You run the water through again, and then you do that same thing twice a day, 2 times running through, and then dump it, and then do it 3 times a day. And the other thing about this that's really cool, so you have 2 levels of sprouts, which I did the first time. I had so many sprouts I didn't know what to do with, but you can actually do different, you can have 2 different kinds of sprouts. So like if you want to do sunflower seed or broccoli sprouts or bean sprouts or however you want, but then also there's dividers. So you can even do, can do 4 different kinds of sprouts, because then you divide your top as well. So you could put this kind of sprouts here, this kind of sprouts there. And this just sits on the counter. Again, same process, but it's just in a fancy plexiglass. You'll see the pictures from this one. I didn't do a 2 level this one because I learned from the last time. I felt bad because I was just like eating sprouts. And you could put sprouts like on anything. You could put them in your smoothies, which is good too, and blend them. And so basically the same process is you want to keep it as dry as possible. So you always, so these drain naturally into this collection. So once you rinse them, then you put that back on the thing, and then this collects all the water as the beans sprouts drain. And so this, we can put this on our, this is from Botanical Interests is the name of the company that you can purchase this from.
Wow.
So this was a fun one because I like it that, and I am going to buy different kinds of seeds because it's nice to have, like I like the sunflower seed sprouts or even the bean sprouts. I'd like to try that and see how that goes.
Could you do mung bean sprouts?
You can do mung beans as well, yeah. So the broccoli, you know, smells because it has a sulforaphane in it, and that's the cancer fighter. That's the antioxidant that you want. So the fact that they smell like broccoli when they grow, that's a good thing. When they don't smell like broccoli anymore and they smell like something bad, then they've gone bad. So that's how you know. But it's mold. That's what the big thing you want to prevent is getting mold on your sprouts. But it's a fun little, you could do this anywhere. You could do it at work. You could do it at home, wherever you live. You only need a jar and some seeds and some water. Basically, you don't need sun. So
that would be a fun like project at school or with kids right now. So many of them are being homeschooled. Or
it's a great project for kids too, because they love to see. I remember when I was a kid, I used to love to watch seeds grow. We used to sell seeds as a fundraiser, and like I would buy some, and then I would love to like plant them and watch them grow, and then they can eat them. That's what's pretty cool. You don't have to wait for them to grow to a full plant and then have fruit, pick the fruit, and then they just eat that right within 4 days. You can start eating them. So
that's
I usually
the perfect plant for me because I won't forget about it and kill it.
No, I usually put it right in front of my sink, my kitchen sink. So every morning when I get up, it's right there. I run my water through it, and then then I'm done. I feel like that was show and tell.
Yeah.
I feel like you accomplished something when you get all the sprouts. You're like, oh, look what I grew. And now I'm eating. And then you're like eating them. And they're delicious. I love them. I really do. I put them on top of my salads too. I was doing that. I was putting on my salads. I put it on in my breakfast one morning. And then I did my toast thing. So I had like scrambled oats one day. I put the sprouts in there.
They're like a great garnish. Honestly.
Yeah.
Put it on top of bowls, anything.
Yeah. Oh, like sweet potato. Yeah, like sweet potato hummus and sprouts. Yum. So I encourage everybody to try it just once.